Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Village of Yellow Springs Board of Zoning Appeals. Judy, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Salmonson.
Present.
Reed.
Present.
Raska.
Present.
Osterholm.
Here.
Also present is Planning and Zoning Administrator Meg Leatherman and Village Manager Johnny Burns.
Review the agenda. Looks like we have two cases tonight,
Yep.
which was snuck on us. I'd like everybody to review. Do we have any communications?
We do not.
No communications. Moving right along. Everybody take a minute. If you haven't reviewed the minutes, review the minutes from last meeting. They should be in the package. I'll give you a minute, then we'll, somebody can make a motion.
I'll move we adopt the minutes.
I'll second that.
Judy, you call the roll?
Was that Osterholm there?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Raska.
Except for minutes.
Minutes.
Oh, yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll take the two variances in the way they are in the package. That's- And we'll start off with the variance by Mr. Durham. Meg, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll go ahead, I'll do a little overview. They may have questions, and then it'll be your turn. So, yeah, this is a variance request for the property at 101 Cemetery Street, submitted by Sam Durham on behalf of Lisa Smale. Okay, Smale, sorry, Smale. The property is in the RB zone, medium density residential, and they're requesting relief from a fence height for 6 feet in the front yard. Adjoining property owners will mail the notice of this public hearing on April 25th. Signs were posted on the property on April 28th, and notice was published in the Yellow Springs News on May 1st and May 10th. I prepared a staff report that outlined the applicable code and my staff findings. It was sent to the board and posted on our website on May 10th. So the applicant submitted the variance request, and what they're wanting to do is put up a 6-foot fence along Xenia Avenue. They're putting in a 4-foot fence along the entire perimeter, the other 3 sides, but since the property's on a corner lot, the zone specifically requires that fences can only be 4 feet on the front yard. Since it's a corner lot, it has 2 front yards in this instance. So they're asking for an exception of a variance of 2 feet. It's a 2-foot variance to allow a 6-foot fence, because the code requires only a 4-foot fence in the front yard. So specifically, the main reason that they want it, not only for their dog, to enclose their dog, but it was also because they have a high volume of traffic that goes along Xenia Avenue, and there's a traffic light there too. It's heading north, the traffic light going out of town. Right there at that intersection is where this property is, and there's a lot of traffic, which makes more noise, and they also want a visual barrier for lights, and so they're asking for the 6-foot fence there. One change since I provided my staff report and recommendation was I had talked to our village manager, who's also Public Works Director, and he is requesting that the 6-foot fence be placed 5 feet off from the sidewalk along Xenia, just to ensure that there's a clear vision for anyone turning right at that intersection or just looking the other way. And we can have the applicant speak to that if that's acceptable or not, because I hadn't had a chance to talk to the applicant before the meeting. So I recommend approval basically of the 2-foot variance request, but it's allowing a 6-foot fence on the front yard along Xenia Avenue, as long as it's set back from the sidewalk along Xenia inside the yard.
Thank you.
So like
Go.
okay, the application shows some redactions and said this is no
Yeah.
longer part of the
Yeah, that's correct. So the applicant actually had their contractor come and submit we have a staff level fence permit is what you're looking at. I usually just approve fence permits at the staff level without even coming here, and that's what the form looks like. They had filled it out, and when I looked at it, I said, well, it actually, we can't do the 6-foot fence along Xenia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I crossed it off because they wanted to continue construction.
Okay.
They wanted me just to approve the fence permit for the 3 other sides. In the meantime, while they sought approval of this 6-foot portion.
Okay.
And I said that was fine because they already had them, and you know how it is with contractors, when they're available, so I didn't want to hold them up on that part. And assuming that if it didn't get approved tonight for the 6-foot, they would still probably want at least a 4-foot to finish the fence anyways, so.
Good.
Clear as mud? Clear as mud.
No, it's
I'm
good.
sure. Okay.
Are we able to hear from, Judy, are we able to hear from Johnny at this point?
You can.
Okay. You're talking about 5 feet off of the sidewalk at Xenia Drive? Or at Dayton Street?
I've not even seen the,
No,
I
Virginia.
can see what the proposed fence line is.
Well, right now it's shown around the sidewalk. Is that right? You were putting it right on the sidewalk? Right off the
We want to
side?
match our neighbors
Yeah, which is right on the sidewalk. Yep, okay.
because it's a lot, there's quite a hill,
Uh-huh, right,
so it wouldn't really help
yep.
have it 5 feet down.
Yeah, that, coming from the 10 years of experience in the village, we've had one staff member have to be cut out of a car at that
There's
intersection
always wrecks there.
because of the fence adjacent to this, or across the street from this property, coming from 343.
That's not in the village, is it? Is that
It
in the
is
town?
right on the edge of the
Oh, is it?
village. It was awarded by a previous administrator as well. Ed, can't think of his name.
So Franny's? That fence? Riker?
Yeah.
Yeah, Riker's
So,
house, yeah.
the other thing is the trees, there's a buffer there as well. So if it's right up against the sidewalk when you pull up to the stop bar on Cemetery, it will block your vision
that's my
going,
question.
coming south.
Would a 4-foot
Yeah.
fence block your vision there?
A 4 fence is permitted. A 6-foot is going to be, now you go up one property, there is a 6-foot fence there, but it's out of the village.
Right,
But-
as you go towards the cemetery.
Correct.
What about 20 feet of 4-foot transitioning to 6-foot? Would that address your issue?
It would get further, yes. It
Okay.
would get it further up the hillside, but
Yep.
the other thing is, are you planning on cutting the trees? Is the tree staying or?
Well, there's bushes there right now because I haven't done anything with it, and the bushes are actually blocking the view more than the fence would. Because I make that corner
I
constant.
was thinking there was 4 or 5 large trees.
Well, yeah.
There are further
The
north.
trees aren't blocking the view.
Correct.
Some bushes are.
But as a tree, are you removing the trees or are you leaving the trees?
No, because it's not blocking the view.
Okay.
They're not in the way.
Okay.
Now, the vision problem, that's if the fence is like up on the sidewalk. If it was back, like where they're talking about moving it back 5 feet from the sidewalk, is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, but then,
And then would we have that, there would be a cutout? Is there going to be a cutout on the corner, the intersection, diagonal cutout, like?
Here.
Like, would this come into effect?
That's the turning radius, that's the visual right there.
Yeah, that's the code
All
requirement.
right, so what, it would stop here? The fence should, or?
That's where they start.
Okay, they can start here.
That's what they're saying.
Okay, I just want to make sure that this was still,
this,
because this red line was confusing me. What you put in there, like, what does that mean?
How much vision?
Now, the red line, that's what I asked about, Scott, is that's the original applicant, and Meg identified that that was out of code and would need the hearing.
Because I went down and looked at it, the existing fence, that is the new fence that's already in there, the 4 foot.
Yeah. you have-
Is the 6 foot going to be the same type fencing look?
No, it would match the neighbors across the street. It would be a solid cedar.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
question is, there's a clear vision requirement of 20 feet at the corner from
We
the,
can make modifications.
and is that what you're looking at, Johnny? To see if that's,
I am.
okay.
It doesn't go on the corner, does it?
Well, that's a question too, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what,
Yeah,
well, we got to ask the applicant too, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drawing that you have shows it wrap around the corner.
That was our original design because we wanted to match the neighbor across 68 on the west or the east side of the
So what's your original, you want to stick with that plan?
as much as we can, but we realized that we can't block the line of sight. So
We have infrastructure there as well, so they can't do that. We have water lines on that corner. As a matter of fact, there's getting ready to be a bigger one taking up through there.
So you tear up their fence?
Yes, we will.
So, just to clarify, is that then outside of their property, or is there a village easement on their property?
I would have to see the property pins to make sure, but there's a lot of infrastructure right in that corner. And a lot of it is unknown, and it will be explored in the next 10 days.
we had the property pins marked when my mom got the house, and one of our property pins is in the middle of the intersection.
Nice. Congratulations.
Doesn't surprise me.
We'll need you to blacktop that as well.
Yeah, we need to, yeah. So you get that sidewalk too, don't you?
Yeah, it could be problematic.
Yeah.
Especially if they're trying to design it like the one across the, I really think this may be even bigger than us because ODOT has a problem with the one across the street. And the state highway patrol has issues with the one across. This is one of the, if you run that red light, which happens every day, but if you run that red light, it don't matter. We have public employees at 5:30 in the morning.
Sure.
Have went through that light and have got tickets from the state highway patrol with our police department right behind them because of how dangerous that intersection is. And if you're trying to, I understand the fencing and the need for it, but it's also a safety issue for the people traveling on that road.
We have our current 4-foot picket fence coming maybe like 40 or 50 feet shy of the intersection. Would it be
Yeah.
okay to have privacy fence up to meet up with that picket and then leave the rest of the corner clear?
And I hate to ask you this, can you give me 10 minutes to run and look at it? Go to the next case. And then let me run up there and take a look at it.
Can we continue?
I don't see any reason you can just...
Yeah.
Literally, I need to drive up there.
So we'll adjourn this case till you get back.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to take one of them with you? So
No, I'll be able to see.
Oh, okay. I mean,
So just give me 5 minutes, I'll be done.
okay. So start the next one, or wait?
Yeah, and we'll just start the next one, but I just want to say, I apologize, I just got this information before this, else I would have reached out to you guys, you weren't blindsided here at the meeting, so, just so you know. Yeah.
How's this work, Judy? Do we have to say, vote to suspend this or anything?
I don't think you need to be that official, as long as all parties are agreeable to just pausing the
Okay.
hearing, and then what I would suggest, I mean, I'm sure you will, but go all the way through Darren Gilley's hearing and conclude that hearing, and then return to this. This may take a minute.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
We're proposing, as a halfway point, a privacy fence up to the 20-foot, and then a picket fence from there along the property line?
Here's what would be awesome. If you're able to just give a bit of a sketch, nothing fancy.
Yeah, kinda clarify a
as to
little
what
bit.
you're proposing, that would be
This would
super
be a good
useful. And
time well spent.
got a little time to maybe put that together, just what you're thinking is some alternatives, that would be great.
Well, I've already seen your fencing, I've already seen it, but how it all connects.
You already built the one.
Do you need any materials for this
I
stuff?
can sketch it.
Yeah, I mean,
The
Okay,
new generation.
great, and then
I
if
think
you
it's a
want to
great
send it to clerk
All right, and we're gonna let our little sketch off here.
@ysr.com.
it sounds like trouble brewing up super close. access.
And we're going to have our sketch artist over here do her version of the fence, and what it should look like.
That would be helpful. We'll print those.
You want to start the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along.
Would you like some paper to draw on?
I'll try and sketch it on my phone.
Oh, cool.
It's one of those modern guys.
We hear Darren's?
Yeah,
In the
Mr.
Yeah, we're
meantime,
moving
or
to
should
Darren.
we wait?
Yeah, we'll keep,
We're going to move on.
Meg, can you set the stage for the second one?
Okay. All right, yes, this is a variance application submitted by Darren Gilley, the property owner. He's requesting relief from front yard setbacks, which is section 1248.03B. The property is located at 410 North High Street in the medium-density residential RB zone. Adjoining property owners were mailed a notice at the public hearing on April 25th. Signs were posted on the property on April 28th, then a notice was published in the Yellow Springs News on May 1st and 10th. And I prepared a staff report that outlines the applicable code and staff findings that was sent to the board and put on our website on May 10th. So Mr. Gilley would like to construct a new single-family dwelling on a vacant lot that he owns. There's an existing single-family home at this same address that overlaps 2 adjoining lots, so there's a total of 3 lots, all 50 by 150, 150 feet by 50 feet, 3 lots, all adjacent to each other, 1 existing single-family home that overlaps 2 of the lots, and then 1 lot that's vacant, and he wants to construct the single-family home on this 1 vacant lot. He'd like to install a prefabricated structure with the footprint of 40 feet by 40 feet and 2 stories in height, with a total livable area of 2,400 square feet, and that's just background information of what he's trying to achieve. The variance is specifically and solely for setback relief. Another unique aspect to this one is the property is located again on another corner lot, the corner of Pleasant Street and North High Street, and the code requires that corner lots have 2 front yards, and the setback requirement for front yards in the RB zone is 20 feet, so he needs to have a 20-foot setback on the corner of Pleasant Street and North High Street. He's right there on the corner, so 20 foot on Pleasant Street, 20 foot on High Street. He's requesting a 15-foot variance along Pleasant Street so that he can have a 5-foot setback there along Pleasant Street. I'll say that again, but and unique to this as well is that Pleasant Street pretty much dead ends at High Street, right at the same location, the same corner. The improved portion definitely stops at North High Street, and then there's a gravel portion that extends further to the west. Along Pleasant Street extends to the west and gravel, but just for about 100 feet or less. The code, because it is technically public right-of-way, it's still considered a corner lot, even though it's not improved. It's also not maintained by the village. It's not officially part of the village street system. The village doesn't maintain that portion of the road that's gravel. They stop maintaining right where the gravel stops, which is at the corner of where his property is. I also checked, and we don't have any plans to extend the road beyond through the gravel portion to the west. And actually, the portion of the property to the west of the gravel area is actually not even annexed into the village. It's an enclaved area that's unannexed. And it's all under one ownership. I think there's a farm there. You guys probably are more familiar with it than I am, since I'm a little bit new.
Last Chance Farm.
Okay. So one piece about this too that was kind of influential in requiring the variance was that 2 homes do take direct access off of this road, and they use it as primary access. The one of the duplex that's directly behind Darren's property, and then the other to the south that has frontage on High Street still, but it uses the Pleasant Street gravel portion to access their home. But it's really not traveled much at all, obviously, because it's a dead-end street. It's just those 2 homes. And there's no plans to extend it, so that's why I was recommending approval. And we'll stand for any questions.
Do you think the lot is buildable under the current code?
Yes, I do think it is. Because of the dimensional standards, it meets the dimensional standards of being the minimum lot size and lot width.
Even with the,
With a
20
I
feet.
guess you could build a 25-foot wide structure.
Oh,
Well, he owns all 3 lots, so he
Right.
could move it back. Should we hear from,
oh, you mean without the variance?
Yes, without the variance.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
I was like, what? Did I miss something really big in the
No.
code that okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it'd be really narrow.
You could build a 25-foot
Yeah,
wide.
yeah. I guess they do that now sometimes.
It's a different structure, though.
Yeah.
could we hear from the applicant?
Sure.
Can you come up here? Yeah, sorry.
I actually kind of wanted to. Yeah, was there specific questions aside from me rambling with my project?
Let's start with
No,
the
let's start with the rambling, well,
Yeah, well, it was, so I looked at some of this. Let me try to stay on point with what we're looking at, I guess. If I should address those points 1 through 8, I could address some of those. Like,
no, you don't have to do that.
No,
that's for us.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you said, it was, it's been sitting there for a while, and to stay in town, I figured I'd, be a little bit more creative with the property I have. But having that as a front yard, if you think about a swath of 50 by 150 being cut almost in half, with 20 by 150 taken out of the use, it does make it fairly tough, like Matt said. It's like, is it usable? That's pretty much why I'm requesting that 15 feet, because it's already, it's probably with those pins, we looked at the pins, my actual property is already 15 or 20% from the gravel, or feet from the gravel. And the gravel road is pretty much used as a driveway. So that's why, and there's nothing that comes through there. I probably won't, there's nothing comes through there, so I don't see it being a hindrance. I'm still going to be, even if I go right up to the 5, I'll still be 20 feet from the actual used portion of that. And there's, a lot of bush and trees that are already taking up some of that, that aren't even on my, technically my property. So.
Since you own all 3, why can't you move the new building back and keep it the same size? There must be a reason.
If he'd want to sell it later, then.
Well, let him speak.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. It's
Okay.
It's keeping,
Integrity
I
of
want to
the-
stay in town. I want to do everything I can there, but if I do have to sell off one, I have to think about that as a future possibility. So that's kind of why I'm asking for that space on that side. Because if I did combine them all, then I'd have more usable space, but I wouldn't be able to sell one or the other. And that's not my plan, but it could be. And that way I could sell one and still have a place for the kids in town, because I got 4 kids in the school system, so they could all have their hangouts and come back from college and see their friends and stuff. Either way.
Can I just ask,
Yeah, you have.
does the board need to know anything about utilities and whether the utilities will be tapped in separately for that structure? Or do they need to be? Does it matter since it's on a separate lot?
I think
It's not accessory.
I think it'll be something different or a different meeting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'll be required to be separate. Yeah, it'll have to be separate because it's on its own lot.
More separate bills for me.
Yeah.
And tap-in fees and
It's
stuff like
only
that. I
for-
talked to Johnny about a lot of that stuff, so it's around $6,000 to pull.
Should be separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is going to be separate.
Does the code still read that if it's an accessory dwelling on the same lot, it has to have the same meter,
Correct. It has to be shared.
Yeah.
right? But if
Yeah.
this is a separate lot and a separate structure,
Right.
Thus, yeah, exactly.
So come, wow. I guess I need to open the public hearing, Judy.
Yeah, looks like someone wants to speak.
you're the boss.
We'll open the public, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you might,
Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
I'd like to open the public hearing if anybody has anything else. Yes, sir. Yeah, please. And then,
I have simple questions, actually, that I don't think weren't clear to me on the notice.
Judy needs your name.
Paul, my
I'm
name is
sorry.
Mitch George. I'm at 322 across the gravel driveway. on Pleasant.
Across the travel,
Yeah.
on the other side.
South of the Pleasant extension.
Okay.
Got it.
So my questions are pretty simple. Actually more for Darren than anything else, will access be off of High Street or off the gravel?
Ken, you do have to address the board and then
Oh,
the
okay.
board.
All right.
It's just a thing.
Well, that's my question then for the board is that will access be off of High Street or off of the Pleasant extension?
In all honesty, I can answer that. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
But it would just be a small drive either way.
Okay. Second question would be, there's currently a tree line between the gravel extension and Darren's current property. Would that tree line be removed or would it be kept intact?
Absolutely not. Will not touch anything.
It would be not
I'm working around all the trees on my property.
Okay.
If you've seen, it calls from some creativity, but yeah, I wouldn't take a tree down unless it's done.
Well, some of those,
As well, 'cause I like that.
some of that
Yeah.
stuff is on village property anyway, is that correct?
The trees?
The bushes and the,
Well, I don't think any of us.
They're right on
Oh.
the line. I mean, if you guys could take them down if you wanted, but I don't know why you would want to.
Yeah.
And they were basically like this high when I moved there, and they are nice. I was like,
They're a nice sight line.
yeah, maybe trim them a little bit.
Oh, yeah, right.
But yeah, no, I won't. Not taking them.
Okay. So that's important. I guess that's it. Those are my only two questions. Thanks.
Sure.
Anybody else have any comments? I'd like to close the public hearing at this time. Doesn't take a vote.
go through your,
Any discussion from the board?
I guess the only question I have is, where is that property line?
Johnny's looking up.
How can we show it?
So I drove by and this is like, it's true, it's like
Yeah.
the road just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it becomes a path almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told it was like a 50-foot swath through a road, and then in between our two properties, then we all have, everything's like 50 by 150 down through there, so
So the road right away is 50 feet?
I'd have to look, but if you look at that, there's a decent space in between.
Yeah, at the beginning there is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's around that, so there's plenty of space in there still.
I can measure the official right-of-way real quick if you want. Yeah.
Does the building department require a survey prior to issuing permits or no?
Yeah, he'll have to do a survey to locate property corners if he hasn't already, but his construction plans will have to be well tied to that, but I don't think it necessarily requires his official survey. He will have to submit building plans that have the structure located within the property boundaries. We don't usually do off-site measurements. Let's see what it says it is. I'm pretty sure it's 50, but I'm just like, yeah, it's, the road is 50 feet, the right-of-way is 50 feet.
Okay. There's a duplex right here. And then he lives over here. But this, it kind of dead ends.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the road, I was just trying to get oriented.
So this building right here is that.
Oh, okay. Would that be in the village?
Yeah, I think it is.
The new, your new structure be in the
Yeah, I'm
village?
still in the village.
Okay.
Well, see, his new building is going to be where he started.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. We'll tell you, so they want to.
This back here.
this is out of the village, right?
No, I think the village is here.
Oh,
It's just this.
Those dotted yellow lines on there? Yeah, yeah, the dotted
oh,
yellow.
okay.
Yeah.
And this is the,
Should we vote?
we got to do this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Any other board members, any other thing else? Judy, we'll go through the 7 questions.
Okay, so as you know, I'm going to read the question. If anyone's got a question about the question, hop right in. If I don't hear anything right away, I will go ahead and call the roll on that question. And the first question.
And these, if all yes or all no, doesn't really tell you how the board's going to vote. They're questions to make us think about different things. You usually say that.
I did actually say it to them before. But
Oh, okay.
I usually do it out loud.
Please proceed.
You are correct. The first question is whether the property in question will yield a reasonable return or whether there can be any beneficial use of the property without the variance.
With it being.
No.
Reed,
Yes.
Osterholm,
No.
Raska?
No.
Salmonson?
Yes.
Second question, whether the variance is substantial. Osterholm?
Yes.
Reed?
No.
Salmonson?
No.
Raska?
No.
3, whether the essential character of the neighborhood would be substantially altered, or whether adjoining properties would suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance. Raska?
No.
Osterholm?
No.
Reed?
No.
Salmonson?
No.
Question 4, whether the variance would adversely affect the delivery of governmental services such as water distribution, sanitary sewer collection, electric distribution, stormwater collection, or refuse collection. Raska?
No.
Reed?
No.
Osterholm?
No.
Salmonson?
No.
5, whether the property owner purchased the property with knowledge of the zoning restriction. Osterholm?
No.
Raska?
No.
Reed?
Also no.
Salmonson?
No. Nobody reads it.
6, whether the property owner's predicament feasibly can be obviated through some method other than a variance. Salmonson?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Raska?
No.
Osterholm?
No.
7, whether the existing conditions from which a variance is being sought were self-created. Osterholm?
Yes.
Salmonson?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Raska?
Yes.
And 8, whether the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance. Raska?
Yes.
Osterholm?
Yes.
Salmonson?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Motion.
I move that we approve the application as outlined and described by staff.
So
Seconded.
you're approving a variance of 15 feet, and Raska is
15, I thought it was 20.
It's
Yes,
a
it's a-
20-foot setback, so
Oh,
it's
it's 15, yeah.
15 feet, correct. Ready for roll call?
Please.
Raska?
Yes, in favor of the variance.
Osterholm?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Salmonson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Okay, we'll go back to the first one, and we'll call on Johnny.
All right. I know I'm not going to be a favorable person. Driving around the block, looking at it, pulling up to the stop sign, called the electric superintendent as well, which is the electric and water guy, pulled up again at the stop sign. If we even allow a 4-foot fence, which is allowed, it's problematic because of how far it comes down. There is bushes there, but you can see if traffic's moving coming through them bushes. My fear is it was only for safety. It has nothing to do with infrastructure at this point. It is for safety. I know they can do a 4-foot, and their house sits down so low, so even at 4-foot, it's going to be that they're probably 8 to 9 feet below the top of that fence to their driveway. So at the most, I'm just saying, if they started to pick a fence where they're at now and they go with 4-foot, that's what code allows. But as far as a 6-foot, I think it's going to give us problems.
And the code lets the fence be right on that sidewalk, right?
It can be.
I think it does. Okay.
Up until the clear vision area, but yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we go. And I wrote down a couple questions. Is the 4-foot fence solid or picket?
No.
It's picket? It's
picket.
Picket fence?
Should we let
And if I heard you correctly, Johnny, if they put the fence up, there's no problem with utilities, no matter what size?
They'll have to get the locate done.
Oh, okay.
There will be some work being done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, they'll have to be, their meter pit will be moved outside, they're gonna be bored underneath the 68, and there'll be some exploratory down past where they're at now to be closer to Cemetery Road. That has always been a mess since I've been here for 10 years. Nobody has any prints for it, nobody knows how it's done. The joke with the last homeowner is you dig up my yard every time it rains because you think there's a leak there. There's a gas line down there too that's problematic.
People have been there looking, and they're clueless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you, coming from staff prior to us that have been here for 30 years are clueless about that whole intersection. It is, we're actually going to have to remove some of the fence on the other side of the street to be able to try to find a valve that's supposedly there. With all that being said, I'm not trying to be the guy that rejects this. I understand the reasoning, but as far as safety for State Route 68 that's seen semis slide through that intersection or see them going through there at 55 miles per hour, I think we need to err on the side of caution. So.
What about a 6-foot fence to abut where their existing new fence is?
I would be okay with a 6 foot, but she eliminated the driveway off of 68.
Yep.
That went down. If they want to cover that part with the 6 foot, I'm good with that, but once they get about 20 foot off that other fence, it needs to go to 4 foot.
But if they were to do 6 feet from that existing 6-foot fence on their side down to their new picket fence that cuts across the property, is that an issue?
It would be an issue.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they eliminated the drive, there's no trees there, and that's further up the road a little bit. So I would say if they wanted to come down to where they just made that driveway obsolete, because they brought their driveway in off of Cemetery, and it wraps around in front of the house. It looks tremendous, by the way. That I can see, but when it gets to like right in front of the house, we need to stay with 4 foot at the max, because you're still 8 feet above the porch.
Would an increased setback allow them a 6-foot?
Because then you'd be getting in trees and they'd be killing the trees then. So, yeah, they're at a catch-22. Because if they put the 6-foot fence down on the lower section, you'll be able to see right across it, and it is not useful. You know, that's how the difference is. She sits down in a hole and the sidewalk's up here. And so literally a 4-foot fence here is going to be amazing. I mean, it'll be above the roof line basically. So.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Can we maybe just continue this and have you guys talk with Johnny and figure out what works for everybody, what works best? And then if a variance is required, you can come back, or it might be that the 4 feet might work for you and you just...
Could you do the, versus having them come back, could you just pass the variance with them working with staff to make sure that it meets all the safety requirements?
It's your call, Judy.
That's not really, well, I don't think so, because it's not a specific variance, and you guys have to be very specific.
Yeah, and they may decide just go with 4 foot if it's giving them what they need and they don't even need us.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Is this an aesthetic fence, or are you trying to keep like a
Trying to
dog
keep the
animal?
noise and...
It's for the noise.
Right on 68.
Pollution, and, you know, the village really needs to think about slowing these people down.
Oh, my God.
You know, Cincinnati is putting speed humps everywhere.
Well, the problem is it's a state route, and we cannot do anything on it because actually we're right before you is the state's. We can do it inside the village, but we can't do it there.
Well, you can do it before the light then, right?
Right at the light.
Yeah. Or cameras, because it's, I hear trucks blaring their horns saying, I'm running this light.
And we have been in contact with ODOT. We have been in contact with the engineering for Greene County Engineering that splits off on Fairfield for speed issues. And so we are trying everything we possibly can. So.
Do we
I mean,
need
if
to
they don't mind coming back, I don't mind seeing if we
do we need to vote to continue this?
Did you guys want to say anything else? Did you have a chance to say everything that you wanted to say? I guess that's what I was,
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think it's mostly,
And if we, from the sidewalk, if we bumped it back like a foot from the sidewalk and just brought it to the fence we already have there, you still think that would be a problem?
I think it's probably better if we are out there and we walk and talk it and then bring back a solid recommendation.
I'm okay with that.
And I might actually suggest that you don't continue it, that you just have a new hearing, because they may come back with a very different idea about what they want to do. This sort of leaves that open for them, and I don't think it'll take you long to catch back up if it is the same or similar.
So what do we do, just pretend it didn't happen?
Basically recommend that they work with staff and bring back another variance request if that is required.
I have another question. Besides picket fence, have you considered any other types of fences?
I don't think it matters. Picket fence, no, the big fence was a solid fence, wasn't it? Yeah. The 6-foot fence was solid to block out
The sound.
the sound and the lights, I take it.
A lot of motorcycles.
You know, I live in Fairfield Pike, a lot of
I ride both ways on my bike. So, yeah, it is a very
so I
iffy
think we
corner.
need to vote on that though, right? No? No vote? Okay.
Suspend the hearing? Or whatever the right words are.
Really, what you're saying is respectfully, we're unable to come to a decision because
There's
you're
too
going to
many
have to
variables.
change the request, and so you're certainly invited to come back to this lovely setting. If you do have a variance to bring back, and certainly staff will work with you to try to, figure something out.
I have they don't have to pay for another variance hearing, though.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
No, okay, good.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
yeah, they've gone up, So, we'll continue the meeting.
Yeah, Matt, if you haven't gone down and looked at it, they've got a parking lot right across the street. Park there, you get a real good look at it.
Agenda, isn't it?
Yeah. Do we need a motion to table?
Judy said no.
Judy says no.
Judy says no. We voted enough tonight.
You're letting it fly free.
Yeah.
It may come back to you changed.
Copy.
Are we allowed to go?
Yes.
Are we? That's the question.
Yeah, we got, thank you.
Sorry.
Hope you get it worked out.
See you soon.
Yeah. Agenda planning, that one's TBD, obviously.
Guess it's those guys.
Yeah, especially for
Yeah.
them. And I'm not aware of any others. I think, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm not aware of any others.
Well, yeah, I definitely have this one on the agenda because it probably will come back that fast if it has to come back.
Good thing I said something and you asked. I just have to be more detailed and
Maybe you want to adjourn.
We will adjourn.
Yeah.
I vote, if we've no other items, that we adjourn this meeting.
Seconded.
Third.
We'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye in favor of adjournment.
Opposed.
Meeting closed.